Now lately the E-24 error has been coming back on and on all the time. So I think the error lies deeper than the filters and common fixes we usually find on the internet. The first thing we have to do is to remove the baskets. The lower one is very easy to lift out. Just take it out like that. And the two upper ones, you just have to lift the wheel over this little thing here and it will come out. Same thing with the top one. Okay, as you can see, there's plenty of water above the filter, so it's quite obvious the machine can't pump out the water. So now I'm going to show you the most common fix for the E-24 error, what I've been doing myself quite a few times. You have to twist this off and lift this filter out, and what you find under there is a metal filter that doesn't look that bad, but you can clean this out like you've seen in plenty other videos. And I have to remove the remaining water. And I have to be clear about this. I'm not using a normal vacuum cleaner. It's an industrial vacuum cleaner. So do not do this with your ordinary vacuum cleaner, please. Okay, now that we've emptied all the water, the next step is to look down this hole. You'll see there's nothing in there, no debris or anything. So what we have to do is use a knife to pry this little plastic thing out. There. Lift this thing out. That's the final sluice to the impeller down there. So you just remember how that's set. You'll be putting it back later. Okay, the white lid is removed and you can see the impeller down there. This is a bit tricky. I'm trying to show you how to move this thing to make sure it's not stuck. I'm spinning it around and it's not stuck in any way. Usually what happens if there's a piece of glass or something that passes through these things into the impeller, it can block it, and if it doesn't spin, you will have the E-24 error. But I've done this a couple of times and the impeller is not stuck in any way. I still keep on getting the problem. Now I stuck my iPhone even further down there to see if there's any damage on the impeller, but I can't see anything that looks suspicious or bad. Another thing, when you're at it, you could actually remove these things and just clean these out. You use a toothpick where there's something stuck in here, you can push that out and just rinse it out with water. Very easy. Same thing with the one sitting below the upper basket in the machine. So this is what the manual says. Fault code E-24 is lit. Water waste hose kinked or blocked. Siphon connection still sealed. Cover on the wastewater pump loose. Well, we removed the cover of the wastewater pump and I'm very sure it was put back in place properly before, but that's done. So now what we have to do now is to check whether the wastewater hose is kinked or blocked, and also check whether the siphon connection is sealed or blocked in some way. Okay, this might look different depending on which country you live in, but in Sweden it looks like this. And what I do, I squeeze these things together to remove that metal ring, and I yank this little thing back and forth to loosen the wastewater hose. And check whether there's crap in there. Can't see anything from here. And the siphon connection seems open. Okay, in order to make sure that the siphon isn't the reason behind the problem, I'm going to remove it properly. I'm going to unscrew this thing and lift it out of this thing and see what's in there. Okay, I'm outside with the siphon that I've taken apart by unscrewing this thing and pulling this out of the hole. looking in there, it doesn't look blocked whatsoever. Same here. And this end a bit dirty, but not where the problem is. The siphon is back in place. The only thing that remains to check is whether the water waste hose is blocked in some way. And what I will try is to use my industrial vacuum cleaner and suck on this hose and see whether water is removed from the hole down there. So I'm adding some water. Mount it over the wastewater hose and turn the machine on. Nothing happens. Usually when I do that, it empties slowly, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, but it still empties this hole from water. Well, this basically sucks because it means I have to remove the entire machine to check whether the water waste hose is blocked somewhere. Since my machine is built in, the first thing I had to do was to remove the cover, and that's easy. It's just open it and take the handle and the cover and pull it up. It's fixated here and here. You can see you have to pull it up, take it out forward, but it's only done if you open it a little bit like this, so it doesn't get stuck here. And on top of that, you have to remove this cover so you don't scratch the floor while pulling the machine out. I mentioned that the machine is usually fixated to the kitchen bench by 2 screws up here in the corner, and the same thing on the other side. So you have to unscrew those in order to remove the machine. Very important. From now on, you have to unplug the machine. Don't forget. As you can see, the machine is quite tightly placed against the kitchen bench. So what I'm doing is I'm going down here, just unscrew this little screw that will lower the legs in the back. As you can see, if I turn it that way, counterclockwise, it will lower the machine, and the opposite direction. But I want to lower the machine, so I'm going to screw it that way. I have now lowered the back legs of the machine, and now I have to lower the front legs of the machine in order to lower the front of the entire thing. So what I do is I turn these things counterclockwise, and it will slowly lower the front of the machine. Well, you get it. You have to do it on both sides. I'll get back to you when it's done. Before pulling the machine out, you have to turn off all the water supplies. There. So, 3 quick things before pulling the machine out from the kitchen counter. The water waste pipe is loose, the plug is unplugged, and the water stop device is detached. So now it's time to take the machine out of its place. I wanted to mention I put some protection on the floor, as I don't want to scratch the hardwood floor when pulling out the machine out of its place. Okay, the entire machine is now out in the sun. I want to remove this left side to see if there's any dirt within the piping of the machine, and how to do that is basically you open the door. A bit tricky because it's a spring tension. There's a torque screw down here under this edge that you have to remove. That's it. You remove that torque screw, you close the lid again, and then you just pop these things open and it will come loose. Okay, the side is now open, and I realize there's plenty of stuff in there that shouldn't be there. You see, it's very dirty. I'll try to figure out how to open this, see what I can do. First I'm going to do is to unscrew these 2 screws, that one and that one, with the torque screwdriver. Then I'm going to disconnect this gray cable by pulling it down like that. And then this blue cable by, I already prepared a little bit. I don't know if you can see, but on that side there are 2 little notches. You push the one to the far left, a little bit towards the right, and then you can easily pull down this connection as well, and it will loosen and come apart. So you'll see when you do it yourself, there are two little blue things there. The one to the left is the one you're supposed to push to the right while pulling this down. Now coming around from the outside of the machine to the inside, I think I have to unscrew this little thing as well, otherwise it'll be screwed to the plastic behind. Looks like that. Might have to unscrew this one as well. I don't know, but I'll see. I used a flexible plier to loosen this up, and I'm just twisting it counterclockwise to loosen it up, so you know. Easy peasy. Now that I've loosened all the screws, I guess I have to remove this thing and bend it out, since everything seems to be flexible down there. What I did is I flexed this thing a bit bad so I could pull this plastic thing back, and I'll see if it works on all the different sides. It should. Wow, that was easier said than done, but finally I got it open with a pair of adjustable pliers, and it's now bending out. And it's come loose, so I'm just folding this out, and I guess I can disconnect these connections down here. From the back it looks like this, so yeah, seems like that's pretty much it. Okay, I'll get back to you when it's loose. I realized there was some water in there, so basically what I'm doing, I'm lifting this thing up. The only thing that's a little bit stuck is this one that was connected with this little metal clip, but there's some water pouring out, so it would be good to have a rag or a towel or something, maybe kitchen paper ready. Otherwise it's just pulling this thing up, that's it. And now the only thing holding this part together with the rest is this hose. I'm trying to pry it off. This white yellowish pipe coming in, that's the water inlet. The water coming in from the water stop outside into the machine. And this path is actually quite clean, so I'm not going to take this off, but because it's stuck there. I mean, I could try to pry it open, but I don't want a leakage there when putting everything back together. So I'm going to put this clip back and just leave it be. But when I pull the whole thing upwards like this, it got loose from these things. There was a whole lot of crap falling out of this pipe. And to explain everything, looking inside there, this is the actual water waste pipe going out of the machine. This little part is just something that goes straight out to this side and out to the siphon. And that part, that pipe actually looks very clean. Though this is the pipe coming from the filter that we cleaned. And this thing connects to that thing. And while pulling this thing up, a whole lot of stuff fell out. I mean, this, if anything, would block the thing. It's like, I don't know, it's kernels or it's just compact dirt. And I think that might be the problem behind everything. But I'm still going to try to wash this thing up, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of dirt here. I don't know how to clean that up, but maybe use a piece of electrical cable or cording or something like that. I'll get invested in this thing. It's a water pressure, well, air pressure water pump that I'm putting hot water in and some dishwashing products. Let's close this up and pump this up. probably saw, when I suck with an industrial vacuum cleaner through this hose, the water passes straight through and out here. And as I showed you before, when I tried to vacuum the water waste hose, nothing happened inside the machine. So I think the blockage we found, the debris that I found that fell out of this thing, might have been the entire problem. Because the water has to travel through here. When I suck through this one, the debris tightens up in this space even more and more because it's smaller here. So I think I already might have fixed the problem, but I want to clean this up anyway. Doesn't seem to want to suck out the water from this thing. As you can see, I've been using a steel wire to poke in this pipe, and there's a whole lot of crap in there. So I'm going to keep on doing this until I see some effect with a vacuum. Let's see what happens. Now I'm going to do a test. I'm going to pour some hot water in there. To see whether I can suck out the water. Well, that definitely worked. So I think the machine is fixed. I'm actually going to put some more water in there with some dishwashing products in order to loosen the fat in this part of the pipe, as it seems to be the reason why it's blocking this side. Time to put everything back together, and before I do that, I'm going to put some silicone-based sealing compound around this O-ring, that O-ring, this little thing here, and around these parts that connect to these things, and also around this rubber seal here. Place this thing or put it back in place. Oh, I don't want to destroy that cable. Slide it back in place. Okay, now that everything is back, I have to make sure these clips on the sides are back in where they belong. And then we have to reconnect these cables by putting that one behind there, this one above this one, and snapping it back in. There. Second one is just as easy. You just put it back in like so. Almost forgot. Need to screw back these two screws properly. Put this one back. Putting the side back on the dishwasher isn't that difficult. You just have to put it all the way down to the ground and lift it up. Make sure you get stuck on those clips down below, and then you push it forward and it will snap in place in the top like that. And what remains is screwing back the screw. down here. I've reattached the water to the water stop device. I suggest that you put a piece of kitchen paper below any connection, water connection you reattached, at least for a week to see whether it's leaking or not. It might be a drip and then you have to tighten it a bit more. I've also connected the water waste hose and plugged it back into the electric socket. Attaching the upper basket is very easy. Just put it over here and slide it in. So the wheel ends up on top of this thing. Push it in. The middle one works the same way. You just push it in and make sure this wheel ends up on top of this side. There. That's about it. Good luck, guys.